back. What episode are we on now?
11.
11.
I remembered it today.
I'm
on it today.
that one.
On it.
You are good. What is 11 in French?
Onze.
Onze.
In Italian? German.
Elf.
Is it? Elf. What's 12 then?
12.
Oh, it's a shame that 12 isn't elf, because it's Christmassy. Like, this 12th month. Do you know what I'm saying?
I get it.
So elf is 11 in German. They made a mistake. That's so German.
All right, Jesus. Oh, we got Essex people.
No, I just said a couple of comments because it winds you up.
No.
But the German thing, I'm not having a go at Germans, but if you were going to name some numbers, you think elf,
what
Christmas.
about 11? Yeah, but I think probably the numbers came
11
before.
sounds good. 11. It's a nice name. It's a nice word. 11.
Okay. Well, this is the 11th episode. I think we can move on from that.
Okay.
So what have I been doing?
With the whole family, and then you had to trump everyone.
Oh, here we go.
No, you had to trump everyone.
Well,
I started with a hurty knee, then Amber...
Go on.
Amber sprained her ankle, got landed on by some
She's on
large
crutches.
girls in rugby, she said.
She's on crutches.
But getting better, sprained ankle. Flynn hurty...
She did manage to go out until 4 a.m.
Yes,
the night of the rugby match. But then obviously it's the aftermath of the alcohol coming out of her body, exactly. And then proper pain. So that's when she went to A&E.
No, not A&E. Was it minor
incidents?
Only had to wait 3 hours or something. It was good though. It was all good.
Yeah. Well,
had an X-ray.
What she needed.
And then Flynn hurty hippie.
Hurty hippie.
Which he's had before.
Ziggy. We don't know yet what's wrong with her.
We're going to the veterinarians.
She's been very, very subdued and listless, is the good words I would say.
You thought it was proctalgia, which is a brilliant word for javelin arse.
Javelin arse. I was watching her, obviously, and she just seemed very uncomfortable in her rear areas. I'm not sure where, but it was just, she's eating well, bowels fine, all that sort of stuff, all the checks that you do. But
it does look like Ren.
She'd stand up and every now and then she'd be like, but she's not like, she's got like something itching her or...
But she can't even reach it. Normally, dogs go around.
So I think it's like must be a nerve shooting pain or something that she's getting. I don't know.
But it's like Ren at the supermarket with his proctalgia, javelin arse. This is a friend of mine, way back when he was in the UK. But he used to get this, what we didn't know was called proctalgia because we were 18, 19-year-olds. We called it javelin arse because he'd be walking around the supermarket with us, buying food, and then suddenly it looked like someone had shot him up the bum and he just literally dropped to his knees.
Why javelin arse? So how you'd imagine
a javelin shoved up your arse.
Never tried it, obviously.
And so it's now known as javelin arse. And when you used to...
Do you think the doctors use that? Is it a medical...
Yes.
I think you should...
But he had quite a few medical things. He had those involuntary erections around his...
I don't know whether everybody needs to know this.
Well, let's call him Penne. But he used to get, when he was young... Well, boys get involuntary erections, right? When you're younger.
Have a lot of things wrong with them.
But he used to get around the Christmas table, and because there's an Italian heritage, there was, have to get up and say goodbye to everyone, kiss, hello, or whatever. But he worked out that if he bonked it with a spoon, that would get rid of it very quickly. So when he get up to kiss Nonna, the granny, he wouldn't have a...
That's just wrong, isn't it?
Well, he wasn't getting erection because of his
grandma.
But he used to get he used to get a lot of medical ailments.
I think all of you have quite a lot of mental issues. So
yes, and then you trumped the whole thing and had to go and have a general anaesthetic.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it last week. I was going for little checkups, so some gynae stuff. Not going to go into details particularly, but just the experiences that I had. See, my voice is a bit croaky. It's a bit straight today. I saw my GP. She referred me straight in. Slightly worrying because it's very quick, but they do have this 2-week fast track program apparently.
Oh, is that what it's all about?
Yeah.
Very good.
As I was checking, and saw a lovely, lovely, lovely female doctor and nurse to do some checks who were extremely caring and understanding because it's a very vulnerable part of your body that people are poking around in. And then she referred me to have a follow-up procedure thing last Tuesday, and I saw what I can only describe as is the man from hell.
Victor Meldrew.
No, it reminded me of Slow Horses. It reminded me of Gary Oldman's character, like so grumpy. I mean, not greasy haired.
Is that dirty?
He had actually had wash, I think. But just his mannerism, just what are you doing here, woman?
How old would we say?
Older than us. That's what I'm going to say. Older than us.
At the end of his career, would you say? Well, you're hoping.
I don't know. He's just from the wrong department. Seriously, why are you doing...
You do wonder how people end up...
Gynecological stuff. If you don't have any nice mannerisms or caring or understanding of women in that situation. And I'm not, as you know, I'm not a shy, vulnerable...
Well, you get your fanny out.
...person. No, but what I'm saying is I'm quite a gobby person. I'll talk to anyone.
No, she's not.
But... it's still quite unnerving, and especially, but there's loads of other women in there who, for whatever reasons, will be far more intimidated than me going into an appointment like that. For me, it was almost a bit like, well, he was asking me questions like, almost like, why are you here? Oh, it was almost like sighing, like, oh, God.
Not another woman.
It's like, what's the matter with these women and their, like, gynecological
middle-aged women of a certain, what is it? What's the line?
Middle-aged...
No, it wasn't.
Middle-class women
of a certain age.
Greg Wallace.
What a plonker. What a plonker. I know there's a red mist. He was obviously responding to all the shouts, and we don't know if he's obviously been saying some pretty strange stuff, but
just to openly apologise and say, look, I'm really sorry that you took it that way. It was never meant that. It's something that's slightly more...
Yeah, he's not like that, is he?
But that's why he's going to get... Anyway, enough about him. Back to this man who was just really grumpy. And it was like he was asking me the questions that he just couldn't be bothered to read what was on the thing. I was like, I haven't booked this appointment. I was referred by one of your colleagues to come here today.
When you say colleagues, it's assuming that they actually are colleagues.
Lovely humans that I'd seen previously. Yeah. And then he was just really rude to his nurse as well. I mean, his nurse, poor woman, just reminded me of Slow Horses with, I can't remember Gary Oldman's character's...
Yeah, what was she called?
The long grey hair.
Yes.
She's just beaten down and just keeps plugging away, even though he's just hideous
Doesn't give
to
up
her.
on him.
And it's exactly what it reminded me of. I was like, you can see where writers get their scripts from, their sort of information.
Yeah.
Anyway, so moving on from him, thankfully, he then referred me to have a little op, which was yesterday. Nice. And they were lovely. All the nurses are really fun. And what was really nice to see was that they were enjoying the job. I mean, maybe not the actual jobs as much, but they were all chatting together. They were social. They were having a bit of a laugh in between, not at patients, but just about, Christmas, Secret Santa stuff and various other things. And they were all extremely caring, male and female. So a male young doctor came in and asked if he could observe. I was like, yeah, not
sure he was a doctor.
If you want to have a look up that end.
Hello, I'm Dr. What was he? What did you dress up as in that fancy dress?
Dr. Seymour Bush.
Yes. Is that his name? Was that his name?
Oh my God, that's right. So this is book club. It is relevant. Book club years ago was actually book club, but we'd gone through a phase. We'd all got together when the kids were tiny, and it was just like one night a month that we'd all get together and drink wine and chat rubbish and occasionally talk about a book. And obviously been doing this for a while, take it in turns, someone's house. And then one year we forgot one of the girls' birthdays, which was just really bad.
Terrible.
Really bad. So the following year we thought we'll make a really big deal of her birthday. So by then, obviously at the end of the evening, when everybody's had a bit of wine, we come up with these amazing ideas of things we'll do or stuff. And so we decided to do a fancy dress for her, but it was medics. She's a GP, so medics. And we just read Caitlin Moran's book, How to Be a Woman.
Yes.
And in that, Caitlin Moran has a poll of what women call their vaginas, vulvas, lady bits, all that stuff, front bottoms. She'd written a whole list of stuff. So we decided at book club the previous month to come up with loads of stupid names for, or what everybody calls it, or what they call their kids, or whatever.
Yeah.
And for some reason, Moof came up because this girl's birthday is in November, so we thought we'd follow the Movember thing.
Lovely.
From blokes to bring them staff, and we'd all do some crazy topiary on our pubic hair.
Did you?
No.
Right.
Of course, this was like the end of book club. Hilarious, brilliant idea.
Everyone had one glass of Prosecco.
Woo, yay! God, a lot more than... Right, we don't
no, sorry, I got
we don't need to see your bush.
Sorry.
Go away.
Sorry.
And so that's what we did. So we did
remember that.
medics
Wasn't it here?
and moose. No, it was at someone else's house, but I drove. We had our Toyota Previa at the time.
Yeah,
The love bus.
Yeah.
And so I decided I'd drive everybody around. So we've got a lab coat. I think I got a lab coat. Or did we have it for one of the kids for something? No, I think
You
I
had
got
one.
obviously. Oh no, I bought a lab coat.
Did you?
Borrowed a stethoscope of someone, and I had a badge that said Dr. Seymour Bush, spelled Seymour, like the actual name. There's a name, Seymour.
Obviously.
Just filling it in for people. And so picked up everybody en route, which was actually, we had the most fun just driving around with all the random outfits. Another friend came out in full scrubs with a pair of pants over the top of her scrubs with a fake, like a wig hanging out.
A merkin.
And her dad, because the kids were quite little, and her dad was babysitting. And as she was leaving, he said, looked at what she was wearing. She said, where are you going again? She said, book club. Just like ran out.
Who was that?
Cartoon later.
Well, say it in code. Say a rhyming name.
Lives very close to us that way, 2 roads up. Anyway,
Okay.
I have to fill it in because this is, I can see your brain ticking.
Pooh.
Yes.
Well done.
Anyway, and it was just random, so it was very, very funny. Very, very funny. So that's where Dr. Seymour Bush.
But he wasn't the doctor that actually
Luckily,
came to have a look at you.
I have no idea what his name is. He didn't even introduce himself. Didn't say hello. No.
I guess.
And because you're in the moment of the appointment, you're so like worried about what's going to happen in the next room.
Yeah.
Which is quite horrible. Anyway, he squirted for this.
Sorry.
Sorry.
Jesus. Are you sure? Had you had the anaesthetic?
The anaesthetic's
Was he good looking? What was he wearing?
I just said he was the grumpiest, hideous.
No. When the bloke squirted you.
But
Who's the young guy? No,
this
I
is
thought the
grumpy
young
bloke.
guy squirted you with
sorry,
something.
back to grumpy old bloke.
Oh, okay. Who squirted you with
I had
something?
to have a procedure where that's put some liquid in. Anyway, it was a vinegar, and he was saying it smells like vinegar. So I was like, it just smells like a chip shop.
Oh, Susie, stop now.
Chip shop.
Stop.
No fish.
I was just about to say I was very good for me. I'm so grown up.
Well, anyway, so that was last week. Anyway, moved on from him because he was hideous, and then I had to have the lot. So yes, the very sweet young, I don't know his name. I actually don't know. Nick.
Brad.
Nick.
Hey, Susie.
Hi, Nick.
Hey, can I have a look?
I'm not wearing any Nicks, Nick.
So there we are.
So that was all yesterday. Done. I had to wait around forever, which was hideous.
But yeah, just everything gets delayed.
But it's NHS. They were all amazing. And I just had to, I was in a little room, that's the problem, and I couldn't really move around much.
Yeah.
And I was getting a bit cooped up.
Yeah.
I need to be moving, and I had to be sitting in a chair. You know how I don't like sitting in chairs.
Yeah.
So it was fine. And got home, felt a bit wheezy afterwards, but I didn't have a huge reaction to the thing. Although they tried to put one in one hand, and that's very bruised.
Oh, yeah, look at that. Didn't see that colour.
Very bruised.
Oh, it's gone blue.
Not able to see it on the camera.
Same colour as your elephant.
That was the one they tried to put in, and they went, oh, no, it's not working that one, so put it in that one. A tiny little dot. That's it. So yes, that was it. Very nervous about anaesthetics. I really don't like it. The last experience I had of it was when we took Flynn. He had his little finger caught in
off.
So I had plastics, surgery, full anaesthetic. And it was just the worst thing. Lots of people have said the same thing when they've taken their children for things, because you go in with them for the anaesthetic. Obviously, they go in for the operation. But you sit there and it's like they've died before your eyes.
Oh, don't say that.
It is. I'm just saying, because it is the worst thing. So if you ever have to, just be prepared for that. It's awful. I think if I was an actor and they said, right, you need to cry now.
You just think of that.
I'd just think of that because it's awful.
Because obviously the phones listen to you now. Obviously you've been talking about anaesthetic and stuff, and so
Can we
keep
talk
coming
about
up on my
anaesthetic?
Instagram
Fun stuff.
of people coming round from anaesthetics, general anaesthetic, and very funny, like not recognising their wives, and why are you touching me? And the woman says, I'm your wife, and the guy turns to her and goes, oh, you're nice. You're just lucky.
I didn't have that.
No?
They just sort of woke me up and went, oh, hang on. Then brought me hot chocolate and biscuit, which is very nice. Because I hadn't eaten since 6:30 in the morning. You would not have survived.
No, I would have been very hangry.
And I didn't go into surgery till about 4:15, something like that, 4ish yesterday. I was fine, because I'm not bothered about that. But
Not bothered.
I'm not bothered. Anyway, let's move on from that, because that was that.
Moving on.
And so hopefully we're back in the room. Oh, but I did have to wear, I still got my sexy socks on.
Oh, your DVT socks.
Do you want to see my sexy socks?
Look at those.
They are beautiful. I've got to leave them on till later, and then I can take them off. And some
Our
lovely...
coach used to make us wear those. You remember in winter? Long running socks to keep us warm.
Our coach?
Judy.
Did you?
In winter, tooting. Everyone used to get cold, so she provided everyone with...
Surgical socks?
No, what they call the little ankle...
Leg
muffs.
warmers?
Yeah, that's it, leg warmer.
Okay. I thought you meant like
because everyone used to,
surgical
because
socks.
the calves just used to get suffer.
I've never not stopped wearing leg warmers. I have loads of leg warmers. Love my leg warmers. And that's where there's also pants as well. Yeah, that's too much.
You keep any?
No, they were not nice to wear. It was like wearing a fishing net.
Oh.
No.
Catch anything? Fish and chips?
Fish and chips, yeah.
Fish and chops.
Fish and chops. All right, so let's go on to Mark's Bits.
Oh,
Mark's Bits. I don't know why I do that every time. It just reminds me of...
You just said it, Prestige.
Prestige. Every time.
Yeah, that was a good film. It is a good film.
So, what's been getting you go up this week?
Oh, ReHealth. It started. We had it on the weekend, get the paper delivered, and the journalists have started with the Christmas advice, New Year advice on health and well-being, and it's just the same bollocks every year. It's like people just go into it way too hard, do too much, wonder why nothing happens in 3 weeks. I find it very frustrating. So people put on weight and it takes long. They call it, the Americans call it creeping obesity, where you might put on 2 or 3 pounds a year and you go, oh, that's fine. And then next year, oh, that's fine. And then suddenly you're 2 stone overweight or whatever. It takes time, unless you really are going for it,
and
to put on weight.
it's easier to put on weight, I think.
I think people forget how long it normally takes to put on weight.
Yeah.
And normally I will say to a client, how long have you been this weight? And they'll say 5 years. And I say, well, it will take you 2.5 years to lose it in a sensible, happy way. And they're like, what? And you're like, well, it didn't come on overnight and you're not going to lose it overnight. You know, I'm not going to starve you. I'm not going to make you do marathons because you'll just break mentally and physically. But all the stuff that comes in the papers and the magazines just drive me mad because it's just, I can't put my hand on it, but it's too much. It drives towards everyone's kind of emotions and insecurities. You just find something you enjoy doing.
I think you did it now on the head. It's bollocks. It's utter bollocks. You would never advise someone to do that. And people want a quick fix. I always say that, going to the hairdressers is a quick fix. You can go in, you can have a completely different colour hair, length of hair, style of hair, everything. And, 4 hours later, 3-4 hours later, you can come out a different person.
Yeah.
Temporarily. Whereas your body and fitness, you can't. It
takes a very long time.
Like you say, the consistency, time.
But if someone says, if I give someone some advice and say, right, I'd like you to do this, I'd like you to incorporate this into your lifestyle. They go, great. For how long? Rest of your life. And if they go, what? You're like, well, either my advice is poor and I haven't found something that really gets them going. So whether it's, we've had friends that have gone back to playing netball or joining a swimming club. It's always about, it's why CrossFit's done so well, it's why High Rocks is doing well. It's all about building a community. You train with people. It's like group classes. That's why people like it. You train with people and it builds a community, and the weeks you don't feel like it, your mate is up for it and they drag you along.
You've booked.
And you always feel better when you finish. Doesn't matter what you do, but it's finding what you like doing. But it does drive me,
it's been going on for, even back in the day when I was doing more fitness stuff, I'd get rung up to do stuff on like Radio 5 Live. If they had someone in saying, "Ooh, exercise is bollocks," they'd get me on to say why it is not bollocks. Any sort of fitness related stuff, health stuff, magazines. So you'd get called up again by a journalist who has limited or no.
Yeah, I get it. That's their job, and they're trying to write an article and sell their article.
Just write what we've said. Don't edit it. But
it's not sexy. It's not
that's
sexy.
What I mean. Don't edit it to some bollocks
language,
that
please,
appeals.
Suzie.
I'm just saying bollocks.
I think you're still under general anaesthetic.
Who
am I?
Don't know.
Good.
So that exactly. So even 30 years ago, that was happening, and it has still been happening. I mean, you've had journalists come to.
Oh, I've refused to do it now. I refuse to. If someone goes, could you come and could I train with you?
Be really good PR.
Yeah,
be really good for your business.
And then they write your name down, or they get the prices wrong, or they get what you're talking about, and they just change it around. You're like, nah, no.
You just have to.
It's like the celebrity thing. Oh, I'm training for a film. Good for you. Enjoy it. It's just
I think films start. Well, you've done it back in the day. You've trained. Who have you trained? Name and shame.
I don't like that stuff.
No, but that's like back in the day at some other place, not your place, wasn't it?
Yeah.
But no, I think for a lot of people, it's not. They think that you want that, and most people don't, but a lot of people do. You know, it's almost like pre-influencer. People now think that that's the way. I mean, you've even had comedians, you've had people, you know, come in, various things. If people are serious about it and they've got a serious challenge or something like that, that's great. Yeah, and it doesn't matter who they are. They're just a client coming in to do that job, you know.
I mean, it's always, you know, when someone sets themselves a challenge, and it could be body composition change, if that's what drives them. But the problem is, once you've done that challenge, you know, whether it's a triathlon or whether it's I want to get down to whatever, 15% body fat, whatever it might be. I never really like those. But if the question is what's next? You know, you finish one challenge. I remember one client saying to me, the problem is every year I feel like I have to do a harder challenge, you know, to motivate myself to get up on a, you know, Monday morning and go out for a run before.
But I think that's what you're talking about, having more of a team element, or team or community element rather than an individual element. You know, if you're doing a triathlon, it's an individual, it's all on you. If you're running the marathon, it's all on you. Yes, there's like 20,000 other people doing it. But it's your time, your effort, and your training.
You have different types of you know, I've said people come to me and go, right, I want to do an Ironman. And the first question I ask is if they're in a relationship, have you spoken to your partner? Because you're either not very happy in their relationship because they're not going to see them. And when they do see them, they're knackered because they're doing so much training. And you just, but certain people, you know, at the track, you get the endurance athletes are quite introverted and just get on with it. You know, where the sprinters and the throwers are vocal, loud, lots of banter.
They only run for 10 seconds, it's fine.
Yeah, hopefully.
They're really good.
Yeah.
I just think, I agree. I just think people have been brainwashed. And it's always just like these wishy-washy stuff.
But it's all about, if you read it, it's all about playing to people's emotions. It's all, you know, everyone has insecurities. We're saying, you know, the physio that I see, Bart, who's great, who's just done his LCL in from his jiu-jitsu, which is mental sport. And he's in a brace as well now. And, you know, when it's yourself and you're listening to advice or taking advice, but when you're trying to design what you should do yourself when it's you that's injured or ill, I'm rubbish. I need to be told what to do. But if it's a client, I know exactly, because, you know, emotionally you're like, oh, my knee, and should I do that? Should I do that? And then he goes, right, do this, do that. And you're like, okay, it's fine. Yeah,
but I think everybody needs it. Everybody needs a coach. Like I remember someone years ago said, I don't need personal training. I was like, everybody needs personal training.
Someone, my client said that last night. Everyone needs a coach. And I don't mean personal training.
You know, if you're an Olympian, you know, whatever it might be, you need a mentor. You need someone to bounce ideas. You need someone to be accountable to help you move forward. And I think that's part of it. And I suppose with articles in magazines, it's a generic. There is a dynamic. Is that right? I'm thinking that they're actually aiming at, you know, an audience that they're aiming at.
Or demographic.
I mean, yeah, demographic, that's the word, not dynamic.
Look at me.
Aesthetic. So for me, it's like, it has to be quite general. It has to be quite overview. But then they make it just...
Well, it's the usual thing, like, do this exercise and you'll get a six-pack. They're still writing shit like that. Or do this exercise and your glutes will grow. You're like, Jesus. I mean, and then I still get it now. Very, very intelligent men and women come to me and go, I don't really want to lift heavy because I don't want to get big. I said, do you know how... I mean, I've trained and lift heavy and I'm still...
Yeah. I mean, body type, but aside from body type...
But even if you've not...
How hard bodybuilders... Natural bodybuilders train, but even if they're taking stuff, they're still training flipping hard. Yeah. It doesn't just like, they don't just...
You know, they're doing split routines 5 days a week and you're not lifting heavy once a week.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, so you don't get me started.
It's Mark's Rants this week, rather than Mark's Bits.
But
no, I agree with you. We've seen it so much through
I kind of almost don't want to open up the magazines because it's exactly the same each time.
What was more annoying, Sunday Times...
Was
it Sunday Times magazine? We get Sunday Times, but you're getting the finger. You're not getting the finger.
Oh, good.
They're getting the finger.
Okay.
Sunday Times.
Oh.
Bloody personal space. Jim in Bristol gets a mention.
Yeah.
Mark's come his personal space. It's been going way longer.
Yeah, I should have.
And when they set up their business, I'm going to rant now.
Oh God, I should have said something, but I can't be bothered. Life's too short.
I know that's too short, but it's like. But even I didn't read the whole article because I couldn't. It was all about his aura ring mainly.
Oh, was it?
It was all aura. But they had a photo of these two girls in this small gym, which she's obviously been going and getting free training to write the article because they're stupid enough to let him do it.
Yeah.
Or gullible enough because whatever. But the whole article mentioned them, I think, like one line.
Oh, was it?
I was like, and there was a big photo, obviously, and the name of the thing. And good for them. I hope it brings them
publicity.
actual clients who pay money and want to do stuff.
Yeah. Because people have asked, well, I did have an old colleague who went to Sweden, and then someone said, do you know he set up personal space in Sweden? I went, what? Anyway, I looked it up. Anyway, I rang him, and what are you doing? And he goes, oh, I couldn't think of another name.
No, he said, I really like the name.
Yeah, really. No, I couldn't think of another name. I'm like, yeah.
Stupid.
Anyway, but yeah, so that...
We're the original, all right?
Whatever.
No, we are.
But Brizzer. I should go and visit
second.
them.
Yeah,
I'm sure if I was a real nerd, I could go back because Company's House would show when it's set up.
I've done it. I've looked it up.
God.
I'm a stalker.
Are you? Yeah.
Which is why I put your established year on your Instagram, because I'm like that.
Oh, look at you.
Not petty, just rules.
Crikey. Don't get on the wrong side of
Rules and
Suzie.
procedures need to be kept fair. Fairness. That's all I ask for. Fairness.
Nice.
Fairness.
Treat people how you want to be treated yourself.
Exactly. Just
Easy.
a little phone call, and you'd have gone, yeah, cool. Knock yourself out.
Well, I wouldn't.
Anyway. So Mark Spitz, we've done the rant. So
Sorry
fitness. No, it's good. Fitness. There's the summer bikini body ready.
Body, yes.
And then there's the pre-Christmas party season bollocks, and then there'll be even more bollocks in January. It's a lot of bollocks.
So
3 big bollocks.
Just leading on from the bollocks, what's really interesting is when clients go away on... Oh, my voice went. Clients go away on summer holidays. So some of them train more because they have more time, but a lot of them don't necessarily train. They eat a little bit more, but they sleep loads more than they do. And then you retest them when they come back and they can't believe it. Either they haven't put on any weight at all, even though they've been eating and drinking, or they actually come back leaner because they've had all this sleep.
Yeah, and stress-free.
So the argument, is it because of the sleep, or is it because they're eating and they're almost doing intermittent fasting because they're sleeping for longer? So,
and their stress levels, hopefully.
Yes, and that's the other one, cortisol. But yeah, so that's always my advice to people, is just get more sleep. Like, treat yourself like an athlete almost. An athlete's the first thing... Oh, here we go.
No, it's relevant to sleep. So when I came round from the anaesthetic yesterday and the lovely nurse came in, checked I was okay, she said, how are you feeling? Because some people have a really bad reaction to it and they're very nauseous and whatever, blah, blah, blah. Luckily, I think I didn't have a huge dose, so I'm lucky. But she came around and she said, oh, how's it? I said, actually, it's amazing. I just had really good sleep. It's like as a menopausal woman, we don't sleep. So a friend's just been to New York for a weekend a couple of weeks ago, and she said it was actually, she said I could survive. They did a really short burst weekend in not New York, Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Didn't really sleep. We're busy, trying to fit stuff in the weekend. And she actually said, it's great. She said, as a menopause woman, I could cope because you live off so little sleep and just keep going. Whereas yesterday, I was only under for like 2 hours or something. But
you woke up feeling refreshed.
I was like, wow, I just feel like I've had a really good sleep. I'll be back. I'm booking myself into the spa. They put a heated blanket on me.
Oh my God.
Before the thing. I know, but it was actually, for me, even, it got quite cold in the hospital. They'd obviously turned off the heating or something. It wasn't cold, but it was cool. It was nice.
Nice.
And then she said, I'll get you another warm blanket. I was like, I'm fine. And then she lay down there. It was like when in the spa, and it's almost like it's having a hot water bottle, but it was thin. But they obviously heat them.
You didn't wet yourself?
No, heat them to put them over. I don't know, actually. Don't know what happened.
Okay.
Heat them to put over you to start with, so you're warm to start with, which is really nice. I was like, I feel like I'm in the spa.
Nice.
Not quite as pretty.
Nails got done.
Could you do me a facial while I'm here? Thanks. Yeah. The other thing.
Oh God, here we
go. No,
There's
nothing.
a lot of finger pointing today.
Well, I've got bad hands. I'm trying to
flick it out.
The other thing is I obviously had time to read the magazines sitting in hospital for like 3.5 hours waiting, which normally I don't. And there's a whole thing about Madame Two Swords. Did you see that?
Yes.
And
about that.
Yes, about.
But it showed some of the. I don't think there were Madame Two Swords wax work.
No, they're not. So there's a Madame Two Swords, which everybody knows is iconic, slightly dated, but it was an interesting article because it was obviously talking about the type of people that necessarily go.
Okay.
And it's a sort of whole like celebrities, and it's harder almost because they almost need to make them even more lifelike now because people can see them on social media so much, celebrities, whereas in the olden days, celebrities and stars were celebrities and stars because you hardly ever saw them.
Yeah.
They were on the big screen or
exactly. Premieres
on TV
or
only at premieres.
Because I think they've changed it now where you can actually get super close to them and do it like a selfie.
Yes, you can pay £29 for that privilege.
Throughout the whole thing or just for one person?
I don't know. Don't read the details. But
I told you that.
£44 to go in. It's £44. to visit.
Well, I cannot imagine how long it must take to make one.
Oh, incredible skill and everything. They have spare limbs as well in a storeroom. So if people
touch or move it.
And they also find little secret messages in people's pockets, especially like One Direction and like Harry Styles.
Oh, seriously?
Like little love notes. Because it's like...
Yeah, of course.
Mega fans. We're going to call them super... We have a super fan, but like super fans are super fan. There's like super fans and then there's like up there fans. I'm not going to call them crazy fans, but slightly. And so, they go because they feel like they're standing next to them.
Did it talk about how obviously I told you that I've got some interest in Two Swords with the husband and wife that I've trained with a colleague who he's the owner and been passed out. I don't know how many generations old it is now.
No, I didn't read that.
Must be 3.
I scan read it mainly, but I was just interested in
because it's a massive site as well.
It's huge, but they have 2 places off-site, obviously, where they do all the work, and then they bring them in. And it's amazing though, the sitting. So with the Queen Elizabeth, former Queen, she, as all royals, they sit. So they have sittings. They don't get paid to do it. I mean, obviously the Queen would, but like celebrities, you can imagine asking for payment to sit.
Yeah.
But some of them. Rarely do people say no.
Did they ever do any gladiators?
No.
Didn't they?
No, don't think so. Taking too long or too big.
A lot of wax.
A lot of wax. All the fake tan would be melting off.
You have to contact. What was the candle maker? Price. Was it Price? No.
Prices.
What was the one in Wandsworth?
Yeah, Prices.
Was it? A lot of wax.
Yeah, a lot of wax. But I think so. And then like all the they have like spare limbs in case they get damaged. And it just takes so long, obviously, to get all the skin. I mean, it's a work of art, that level. And they actually really do look like the person.
Yeah.
Because they've done little clips I've seen on Instagram where they have the actual person standing.
Yes.
Pretending to be the waxworks. And then they move,
Oh, yes, they've done that, yes.
Then they go in special selfie.
But they also had pictures of some of the waxworks, not of Two Swords.
So they were, and the article is waxworks it's called a waxworks. It's in Brazil, that one.
Okay, because there's one of Nelson Mandela.
Princess Diana looks like just any sort of 80s, but very shiny. Nelson Mandela, I think, looks like a WWF wrestler.
Well, he's got bleached blonde peroxide hair.
It looks like he's got an earring. It's like they've got someone else.
He looks like, who's the actor?
Mickey Rourke.
No.
Who?
No, the black actor that's... he's in everything. Shawshank.
Morgan Freeman.
Yes. It's a really bad Morgan Freeman.
Well, Morgan Freeman with earring, but with bleached blonde hair.
Yes.
Possibly. And
or like some sort of...
really big, cheesy grin. I mean, nothing. But
it was like he also looked like one of them looked like they'd had a stroke because I think the wax had just.
No, so the bottom one on that photo was John F. Kennedy, and he looks more like Sylvester Stallone. That's what I think. I was looking, I was like, because Sylvester Stallone's got that
drop,
droopy mouth. Yeah, it was Sylvester Stallone. So that kept me occupied anyway, going through the magazines. There's a lot of highbrow information.
It's tough as a journalist. You've got to sell space and magazines, and
I know you got to write stuff, but I actually just write it how you.
Yeah, but maybe that doesn't sell.
But the Madame Tussauds ones did.
Yeah, but that's
a bit more real because that's
exactly that's just a factual piece. But when you're writing about fitness, and I don't think anyone wants to hear the facts. It would just be right. I want you to train 4 or 5 times a week. I want you to walk at least 10,000 steps a day, and I want you to be in a slightly hypercalorie.
So to do this properly, this is what you need to do. If you want to just pretend you're doing it, do it like this.
Yeah, maybe.
It's like, you're saying get fit or feel shit. It's just like straight talking without, not necessarily, you don't upset your clients. So it's not like you're upsetting them. You just say, look, this works. This I've been doing this for a long time.
But sometimes you have to, depending on the person, you have to drip feed them slowly.
Yeah, you adapt it. and exactly. And I suppose that's difficult when you're writing an article, but you have to there's more than one view.
There's so many nuances to it.
But there's more than one view reading that article. And I'm not talking about people who in the know like us, but people, who want to put on weight. People don't want to lose weight. People want to get strong. There's so many different things that people want to do now rather than just fat middle-aged person needs to lose weight. I want to look like a men's health cover. It's not going to happen, mate. Never. It's not going to happen.
Well, it could.
Well, it could, but it's going to take 10 years.
And there's a bit of genetics as well.
And exactly. So, you can't just get a six-pack just by doing 10 sit-ups a day. It's not going to happen.
11 would do it.
11.
It's episode 11.
Episode 11. 11 sit-ups a day.
In German,
challenge.
Elf. Still think that's like a terrible
13,
mistake.
14,
When you're
15,
putting the language
16,
together.
18, 19,
Because obviously
20.
they would think about Christmas when they give their language.
Obviously, yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay. On that note.
Merry Christmas. No, not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Hold it.
We are now just in December, which is exciting.
This will be going out later. You can't say that. Edit him out.
Oh, can't say when it is.
God's sake.
Can't you say when it is?
No.
Roughly. I didn't say the date. I just said
We're
what month
in
it is.
December. We're pre-Christmas. Pre-Christmas episode. Get with the programme, Baggy. Get with the beat, Baggy.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark Roberts.
Oh.
Over and out.
مرحبا.